This is my 2011 Nissan Leaf. A very annoying parking sensor. As you can see, that state of health bar on that battery is looking pretty low. Now this has got a full charge on it, so it's only giving me 61 k's of range. But if I back this thing up, that is my donor car. That one's got a 10 bar state of health battery. It's about 72% state of health. And today I'm going to be swapping the battery out of that into this. So I'm just going to go pop down to the store and go get some dollies to put the batteries on, so I can roll them out from underneath the car, and then we can go get the cars up on the hoist. So I've got some furniture dollies. Got 3 of them. Unfortunately that's all that they had, so hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues when trying to swap this battery over, because the battery weighs 270 odd kilos and each one of those are rated for 200. So I got the car ready to go on the hoist in the workshop, and the issue with these is when you turn them off they automatically put themselves in park, but I want it to still be able to roll even with no power. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the high voltage disconnect that's just behind the sort of center console there. Turn the car on, it'll likely throw a fault because the battery's unavailable, but I should hopefully be able to put it in neutral and then disconnect the 12 volt battery up the front, and once I've done that hopefully it'll stay off but still in neutral rather than going into park. High voltage disconnect is just here. You just pull back the floor mats. It's just this triangular piece of carpet here. There's just 3 10mm bolts there, so I'll just undo those. So I've undone those 3 10mm bolts, and this little plate comes out, and under here is the high voltage service disconnect. There's this little tab here, you push that forward, lift up that green lever, and then out it comes. Right, so now we've got that high voltage service disconnect out. What I'll do is I'll turn the car on. Now it's in neutral. Yeah, it can't communicate with the battery. I've already loosened the battery terminal on the 12 volt battery. So now the car has no power, battery's disconnected. And it's still in neutral. That's exactly what I was hoping it would do. Because as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's any other way to turn the car off and leave it in neutral. Alright, so we've got the car just about ready to jack up around the factory jacking points. So the first task is take off all the plastic under trays. This is actually the first time I'm having a look at the underside of this car. I've already had a look at the underside of the other car. I did the reduction gear recently. And I'm really hoping that the battery isn't too rusty, because this body is actually, it's quite rusty. Yeah, quite a bit of rust on everything really. But hopefully it's not too bad. In this area there's some certain parts of town that have really bad atmospheric sulfur, and it just chews up everything. It makes this nasty flaky rust. So yeah, all the bolts are all rusty and things. So I'll go ahead and undo all these plastic clips and the all the bolts for the under tray, and then we'll take a look at the battery itself. Now the pack itself is exposed. I might actually get some rust converter on all those edges and things. But here, this is where we need to get into. So apparently that clip goes back, so normally it sits like that. Pull that back. Yeah, there's a lot of spider webs under here. So this is a communication plug. So you just twist that anti-clockwise and then it pops out. This is the older style plug, because this is a 2012, so it's the same as 2011. They changed in 2013 to the later style, which also has an additional plug for the PTC heater. On these ones it all just comes through this one main plug. Now there's two clips that you got to get on these at the same time. You got to push that one and this one up here at the same time. So you push that, twist that over, pull it back, and then out it comes. So that's your main high voltage connector, and through there. So now physically this battery, it's completely isolated from the rest of the car, aside from the just the casing being attached to the car itself. Now I've got to remove these. So one of the other things that you got to get is you got to get these grounding straps across here, and there's, I believe it's 8 bolts. I think they're 18mm. I think I heard them say online. And then apparently there's 2 up the back here off those brackets there. So yeah, a bit of an awkward spot, but I'm sure I can get a ratchet in there. Slight correction about these bolts. They are not 18, they are 17s. So I'm just going to loosen many of these back ones off. Right, so we've just gone around one at a time and taken out and then put back in each bolt, just to make sure none of them are seized in there. Thankfully none of them are seized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower them down onto these dollies. Except the only trouble is these dollies don't sit quite high enough. So I might find something to set the battery on top of, so we can roll it out of here. See how difficult it is to scoot this thing around. Yeah, pretty stable how it is. Okay, that's not too bad. That's just where to put it. It's my first time ever doing this, and I think it went pretty smoothly. So that's it there. So yeah, it's just a little bit of surface corrosion on some of these tabs and things. Just want to clean that up and yeah, put some rust converter on it, make sure none of that spreads, because I do plan on keeping this car for a while. This is the underside of the car. So that's the power cable for the battery charger. I assume, seeing as there's only one conduit, it sends the mains 240 down there, as well as sending the 400-ish volts back down the same cable, because as I mentioned, it all goes through here. It's actually, I think it's actually the same connector on the other end of that plugs in to the inverter down there. That's a really long cable for how much power it has to handle. Yeah, a little bit of just surface rust on stuff around here. That's a really interesting pattern that they spray that seam sealer stuff on. Corrosion still got through it though. As I mentioned, yeah, this is sulfur, and it just eats everything. Most of the town isn't too bad, but there's this one spot in town that it's really bad for it, and unfortunately this car was sitting parked up for a couple of years right in that spot. Right, I'm gonna scoot this thing out the way, get this thing down off the hoist, and I'll apply some rust converter on that, and then I'll get the other car in here and pull the battery out of that one, and then pop this one in. But I am going to just wipe all this stuff off here. It's all quite dusty and got all sorts of junk on it. Yeah, so same deal with this one, except thankfully this car won't need to roll out. So I just pushed the other one out, and so I've driven this one in here. So hopefully this one needs to just go up and then drop the battery out of it, and then roll this one under here and put it up under this one. So hopefully this one it will go both in and out under its own power. So yeah, same sort of deal. High voltage disconnect inside and disconnect the 12 volt battery. Leave it in neutral, just makes it a lot easier rolling it forward and back to get it on the hoist. Yeah, we'll see how this one goes. This one is in much better shape and has a lot less rust. It was in a coastal area, but it's still not as bad as the other one. So batteries in the car, everything underneath is plugged in. What I'm going to do now is reconnect the high voltage disconnect. It is a daily driven car, so it does have about 6 EVSEs in it and cables and things. So, right, so that's plugged in. And then I'll hook up the 12 volt and just roll it back a little. And what we're going to have to do now is use Leaf Spy to pair the battery to the car, because if we jump in, it should be in turtle mode. If I power it on, it'll have the invalid battery fault. So I put my foot on the brake, power button, have the contactor shut, Okay, so we've got the 10 bar battery. Still got the fault light on though. Everyone online says it's a turtle mode, but this is just a general fault light. I'll plug in Leaf Spy. Alright, so I've got Leaf Spy here. Should connect in a second. Oh, there's a button on the dongle. Right, here we go, connected. So you go settings, enable the service screen. So now we're in the service screen. Go read DTCs. There's a lot of power supply faults. Yeah, the P3102, invalid battery. That's the fault that you need to clear and pair the battery to the car to make that light go off. That orange light, which I've had on for a very long time because of the low state of health of the old battery. So all that you do is you go clear DTCs, so just do one module at a time. So actually under here you have P3102, so that's a recently added feature. So click on that one and go execute, and that yellow warning light has gone off. I've never seen this car without that yellow warning light on. Right, and then I've just got another fault in the multi-AV system. So it's just clearing that. No idea what that is, but yeah, so all of these read okay and none under faults. The light's off and the car is in ready to drive mode with no fault lights, aside from my seatbelt because I'm just still in the workshop. And that's a battery swap done.